Good evening, YouTube. Derek Hardball Crazy here, coming back at you with a response video. This is for G's Mikey for his 200th subscribers. Congratulations! You have a cool channel. Enjoy watching it. I came upon it recently. Haven't watched all your videos, but it's a good channel. If you haven't seen G's Mikey yet, I would recommend it. He's from Dodger Collector from the LA area. He also of Mexican heritage, so his contest is promotes diversity and equality in the world, which we need to promote more of. We're all human beings. We're all baseball lovers here in our community. We're all pretty much like brothers and sisters here. Anyways, you see Don Newcomb, rest in peace there, passed away today, unfortunately. G's Mikey has requested us to show 5 cards from your favorite team from 5 different races, backgrounds, ethnicities, religions, whatnot. So I picked out 5 players from 5 different backgrounds to show you. Then he wants 5 players from a Latino background. One of which being Mexican, he is of Mexican descent. So I got 5 there for him too. So I'm going to start with the 5 players from different backgrounds first. First one is, I'm embarrassed to say as a Tigers fan, Tigers is my team, is that I believe Detroit Tigers were the second to the last team to integrate a black player into their roster. Of course, Boston Red Sox were the last. I believe the Tigers were the second to the last. If not second, they'll be the third. And the first black player ever to play for them is Larry Doby. Played with them in '59. Of course, he was the first black player with the Cleveland Indians in '47 in the American League. But he was also the first black player in Tigers history, too. This is his '59 Topps. And second to last team to the Boston Red Sox, to I believe a year later. Pumpsy Green was the first for the Boston Red Sox. The Tigers the second to last, which is kind of embarrassing for me as a Detroit Tiger fan. But it is what it is. I have no control over it. So that's my Larry Doby. My second one is of a player of Jewish background. If you know your Jewish baseball history or Detroit Tiger baseball history, you know that Hank Greenberg was the first Jewish superstar in baseball. Before him, there were a couple of Jew players, and a lot of the more prominent ones changed their names. So, like instead of Hank Greenberg, they'd go Hank Green or something like that. So he's the one that's the first Jewish superstar in baseball. This is my bat card of him. I don't have a plain days card of him yet. SP Legendary Cuts. And he played in a town, Detroit, was quite anti-Semitic. Henry Ford was anti-Semitic, and there was a priest in Detroit too who was promoting anti-Semitic propaganda also. So he stood up. A lot of Jewish community of the era. Favorite player was Hank Greenberg because of that, and he debated and he missed games because of religious Jewish holidays such as Yom Kippur and others. So Hank Greenberg was really the first Jewish superstar in baseball. Next one is of Japanese descent. Of course, it's Hideo Nomo. He played for the Tigers briefly for 1 year. This is a '99 Fleur Mystique. Or 2000 Fleur Mystique, I'm sorry. He's one of 2 Japanese players that ever played for the Tigers. They had one guy played very briefly soon after this. His name is Masao Kida. Didn't play very well, and he was gone within a year or so. But they're the only 2 Japanese that ever played for the Detroit Tigers. Of course, there's many Japanese players in the majors now, and pretty good ones too. I'm a pretty fan of them. They're good to have them over here in the U.S. playing. A fun fact about I was going to mention at the beginning of the video, is that one thing I love why baseball is my favorite sport is because of diversity. They come from all over the world to play baseball in the MLB, literally, because excluding Antarctica, the other 6 continents was represented as a player in the last 2 years in MLB players. At least one player from each continent, excluding Antarctica, played in MLB last 2 years. Anyways, going on. My next one is a different background. I've covered religion, I've covered race, I've covered ethnicity. What about sexuality? Billy Beane is a Detroit Tiger, late 80s. He came out after his playing days out of the closet as homosexual. I believe he's one of 2 players who came out as known players who were gay players, but he didn't come out until after his playing days. There was an ESPN, there was a MLB presents video about him and stuff. Played briefly with the Tigers, the Padres, I believe 1 or 2 other teams. Played college baseball out in California. Late 80s, early 90s. Buzz Seeley, a couple years before his tenure was up as commissioner, he hired Billy Beane as the director of inclusion, I guess I don't know his exact title, but he's the director of inclusion. He would help anybody who's has any trouble with getting into baseball for personal reasons, whether if it's language, ethnicity, color, sexuality, or anything there. Billy Beane is there to help them and aid them. So that's my Billy Beane card there. And my last one is a Latino descent, Barbaro Garbey. He's a Cuban. He defected. He's like the first professional player post-Castro defected from Cuba. Before Rene Rocha was 93, defected, and also the Hernandez brothers did, and many others since. But Garbey in 1980, he defected in a famous flotilla thing at Cuba. History lessons there. I don't want to get details. I don't want to give you misinformation. But he's from Cuba, and there's my 5 cards from different backgrounds there. My next thing Mikey asked for is 5 cards of Latino players. So I picked out 5 cards from 5 of Hispanic players from 5 different countries. First one is Miguel Ordonez from Venezuela. He always brings me a smile on my face because he's hit the home run to clinch the pennant in 2006 off the Oakland A's. 2006. He was an all-star here, batting champion. One of my favorite players of the era, Venezuela. You probably guys are sick of seeing Miguel Cabrera cards from me, so he's also from Venezuela. That's why I picked out Miguel Ordonez as a different player. Next up is a player from Cuba who is just finished with the Tigers. He's a free agent still right now, but the Tigers elected not to re-sign him. I enjoyed watching him play. He's one of the reasons the Tigers were terrible last night. He was one of the reasons I like to tune in and watch. I love watching the slick fielding shortstops do their thing. It's Jose Iglesias. He's from Cuba. Tigers got him from a trade, the Red Sox in 2013. This is a Gypsy Queen black bordered numbered card out of 199. Why I like this card the most is that if you look at it closely, instead of the regular Tiger uniforms, the road uniform, it says Tigres. Every weekend the Tigers have at least once a game, one like a Saturday, so I don't know if it's a full weekend or not, but they do a Hispanic Heritage game, and the Tigers don Los Tigres uniforms. I want to at least get one Los Tigres card uniform in my Tiger collection. So I got this Jose Iglesias. He is from Cuba. Next one up is a pitcher from Puerto Rico. He was the not a big fan of relief pitchers, but I included him because he's we couldn't win the World Series 1984 without him. It was Willie Hernandez. This 88 tops big. He won the 1984 Cy Young and MVP. Started closer in 84. Oops, don't have the stats in front of what he did in 84, but I think he had like a sub-2 ERA. Pretty phenomenal season. He was known for his screwball. If you notice here, his name is on here is Guillermo Hernandez. So if you collected the cards from this era, junk wax era, you might see some cards as Willie Hernandez and some cards as Guillermo Hernandez. Of course, Guillermo is Spanish for Willie. By this time or so, he was always Willie Hernandez. By the time this card came around in 87 or 88, he wanted to switch to Guillermo because, if I remember correctly, his son wanted to be called Willie also, and Guillermo Senior Hernandez says, no, I want you to be part of your heritage, so I want you to be called Guillermo. So instead of being hypocritical, he changed his name to Guillermo also. So that's why you will see some cards of him as Guillermo Hernandez and some cards as Willie Hernandez. This 88 tops big. This is towards the later end of his tenure with the Tigers. 84 Cy Young and 84 MVP and 84 World Series champion. My next up is of Dominican, a significant Dominican. This is the 59 tops Ozzie Virgil. He played for the Giants and the Tigers. He debuted with the Giants first. But what makes him significant, he is the first ever Dominican to play an MLB game. Now it's so common. There's so many great Dominicans out there playing for MLB, and I'm sure we're all fans of some of them. But Ozzie Virgil was the first one. He later coached. I remember him being the opposing coach in the 84 World Series of the San Diego Padres. His son was a catcher with the Braves and the Phillies, most notably in the late 80s, early 90s, made a couple All-Star games. But Ozzie Virgil, 59 tops, was the first Dominican MLB player. And to pick out a Mexican, I picked out Guillermo Hernandez's setup man in 84. Star relief pitcher. He was a closer for briefly in the early 80s. One of my all-time favorite Tiger relief pitchers. Maybe is my all-time favorite Tiger relief pitcher. Mr. Aurelio Lopez, fan favorite. Workhorse in 84. He was 10-1 through 137 innings in 71 games in 84 with a 2.94 ERA, 10-1 record with 14 saves. Pretty solid year. Pitched many years in Mexican leagues, and Tigers got him early 80s, late 79. This is his first year with the Tigers. You see his stats, see how he was really solid for many years. He later played for the 86 division title with the Astros. Aurelio Lopez's nickname, he's a flamethrower. His nickname was Senor Smoke. Unfortunately, he passed away soon after his playing days, like in the 90s or so, in a car accident in Mexico. He's always been, if you're there, he's always been one of the more popular Tigers of the team. There you have it. That's my video response for G's Mikey. Congratulations. If you haven't seen his video, check his page, check it out. And congratulations once again, 200, and I hope you get 200 more here real soon. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.